You are now entering the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.
It's about comic books, movies, growing up with Rokusuki. Superman before Zack Snyder ruined him. Michael Keaton was the best Batman, while Christian Bale was just deadpan. No one remembers the other ones. Princess Leia in bikinis and Transformer Lamborghinis. Please don't let Shia LaBeouf ever act again.
Please, God, no.
Remembering Tales from the Crypt, back when Michael Bay wrote good scripts.
He wrote
And all
scripts.
right here is no mystery, 'cause it's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas. It's the history of bad.
It's bad.
It's the history of bad.
So bad.
It's the history of bad ideas.
Podcast.
All right, this is where we'll have to throw out the spoiler alert. If you have not read the books and don't want to know what's coming up, as much as we might have already spoiled, we're really going to spoil shit now. So, if you want to hold off, stop us now, and pick us up later after the season's over, or the books, or you read the books. But we're talking books now, so if you're afraid of spoilers, this is where to stop.
Or hit pause, right?
Or hit pause and just
Read the
pause.
books. Let's give you a second.
All right,
Okay,
now that
now
you're back.
Now that you're back, hey! Hey!
What'd you think of the books? All right, here we go.
All right, books. All right. What do we know about the books?
What do I know about the books? Here's what everybody knows about the books. I love doing nothing more than having a good dinner, drinking some beers, and talking Game of Thrones theories with people.
I have
what we
witnessed
know
this
about the books.
firsthand when I thought I was going to sit down and have a drink with Blake and Michelle after the movie.
After the IMAX.
After the IMAX experience, and I would say, "Okay, I'll have a drink with you."
And
They finished their dinner, paid for everything,
and 2 hours later,
we're sitting there still talking about one of Blake's
crazy
outrageous theories. But that did bring up the whole. That was in my mind the birth of the whole Lannister, Jaime and Cersei theory.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. But anyway,
That was pretty cool.
Blake loves his theories. Let it be known. We're going to try to hold him back as much as possible. He's like
I'll try to contain
he's like
myself.
giddy as a schoolgirl right now to talk about his books. So
No.
I'm just the opposite. I'm along for the ride. I'll read
right.
it, and what happens, happens.
And
when
I'm
you
kind of
connect
in the
dots,
middle,
I'll
right.
go, oh, yeah, okay.
All right, good. Well, this is good then. You'll like this section, Jeff.
well, again, we're all up to date.
We're all up to date
on the
the 5
books.
books.
And so I guess from here we can talk about
The
basically
books.
what has where we're at currently at the end of book
5.
5.
Yes.
Dance with
Dance
Dragons.
with Dragons.
Dance with Dragons as we await for Winds of Winter.
And
Now-
we'll
now
wait
we're-
and wait and wait.
And we're going to wait until 2016. Damn it.
Christmas, probably.
Oh, God. Yeah,
That's fine as long as it comes out this year because
No, Christmas of 2016.
no. It'll
said
be out this year. I'm pretty
2016.
sure.
I'm pretty sure they pretty much said
They
it
said
won't be this year.
2016.
Yeah, but Martin even suggested
He may
not
finish.
too long ago that if he could get Winds of Winter finished, then he would go back on his tours of some of the Comic-Cons. So he is
Yeah, he's cutting out.
he's cutting out a few
appearances.
because it sounds like he is finally back to writing, and of course
Motivated to get
we
it.
want to encourage that. So
Yeah,
all you
that's
Comic-Cons who are going to miss out, fuck you, chill out. He'll come next year.
I mean, I've got shit I'd like him to sign, but screw that.
Yeah,
Finish the
no.
book.
Finish the book. So
Yeah, that's
we
true.
give him a chance to finish the book, and I think it will get done this year. And of course, I'm sure the publishers would love to drop it on us sometime around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they would love it out for
Get it out.
Christmas. You're right.
Heck
I
yeah,
don't
you're
see
right,
it
you're right.
happening, but
So
But we're recording this on April 2nd. And today, there was a new news release. He released another
breaking
new
news.
chapter. Live from George R. R. Martin's house.
we have a story.
We have a story. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
oh,
No, George R. R. Martin
it's
actually...
time for another installment of the news of the geek.
There you go.
And this news of the geek is George R. R. Martin just released today another chapter from The Winds of Winter, and it's a Sansa chapter.
Oh.
And the news broke as I was getting ready to walk out the house to come hear
shit.
it.
Right.
So now we can read on Sansa. So there are some chapters out there you can read from the Winds of Winter.
There's like 6 of them out there
Yeah,
now. I
there's
mean,
6.
hell, we've got a fucking
There's
quarter of
6
the
out.
book.
I haven't read
Yeah.
those yet. But
Yeah.
they've left them all here in the outline.
I've read 5 of them, I
Aria
think.
chapter. Actually, you did. You listed these.
I listed them all.
Arya and Arianne.
Which the Mercy story is just fantastic. I can't wait to read more about
that is true.
Arya in this
Yes.
upcoming book. It's going to be awesome.
So
A Theon.
great chapter for Arya. Arianne, that's one of the sand snakes, right?
No.
Ariana.
She's
Ariana.
not a sand snake. She's
She's
Oberyn's brother, Doran. Doran Martell's daughter.
yes, Martell. She's
Oh, okay.
Ariana Martell.
Yeah, she's a Martell.
She's a
Arya
Martell.
Martell.
She's Dorn. She's the heir to Dorn.
Yes.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I got really pissed off when the
And will not be in the TV show.
Now, will not be in the TV. I got really pissed off when George R.R. Martin, before Dance with Dragons, he did the whole Martell and brought the whole Martell thing in, and I got so pissed off because I said, you know what? You're 4 books in. Why are you starting a new storyline with new characters? Why can't you just finish the ones you got with what you got right now?
Because he drew a map and they were there. He's got to explain it somehow. And you were going to tell me nobody lives there? It's the fucking
He
tropical.
also had the Iron Islands too.
I know, and then it goes on that whole Victorian spin.
Book 4 was Cersei, Jaime, and then Dorne in the Iron Islands.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anyways.
Yes, anyway. So
So
there
there's
are...
Theon Reek's chapter, there's a Barristan Selmy chapter, there's a Victorian chapter, there's a Tyrion chapter, and
I
now
just
there's
finished reading the Tyrion chapter.
Tyrion chapter. Now there's a Sansa chapter.
Now, again, we can
So
also...
all these are going to be released before the book comes
We
out.
don't
Will we
know.
buy the book?
They may not be. They may not be word for word. So it's
okay.
probably a script that he had put out, or a section that he had put out that was good enough. That's probably going to be there.
They're just
But I
teasing
would
you to
imagine
keep
what we
your
read here
appetite wet.
is going to be a little bit, might be just a little bit different in the book when it comes out. So, but I have to imagine that the entire chapters, if you read them, they fit right in with what it would be. I don't think any of them are major fakes. They're not frauds necessarily.
I hope they don't do that.
But
shit.
for example, one of the Theon, or not the Theon, the Victorian one that he did was actually he read it at an event,
oh, okay.
and then somebody dropped it down onto.
Somebody
it's-
dictated it.
somebody dictated it
Somebody
down. So
floppied
again,
it.
yep,
Somebody
there you go.
floppied it into words.
or as
exactly.
Jason would say,
So anyway, we have some ideas of what's going to happen in the next book. But each one of these chapters that were released or read, they must be in the first 5 or 6 chapters of the book because
They're
Probably the
they
first
really
one.
are
Like,
because you
damn
don't
it.
get anything for sure out of it. The only one that's close, I think, is Tyrion. That tells us we're at war here in Meereen. There's some heavy shit going on. You got the Ironborn who's shooting from one side. You've got fucking Selmy coming down from to protect the queen.
Well, there you
You've
go.
got
I mean-
dragons burning the earth below because they were released.
Yeah.
And so all of these things you see are going to happen now in
That's
the next
gonna be
book.
awesome.
so 3 of the 6 released, or 7 now, were Selmy, Victorian, and Tyrion, who are all at Marine.
Yes.
Okay.
So that war is,
Well,
Victorian chapter, they're pulling
On
up.
the way. Okay.
Yeah.
They're on
so
the
the
way
Tyrion
there.
chapter's coming after.
Victorian's
you
got
can see,
Victorian's got a red priest like Melisandre now.
He was kind of cool
basically
in the
protecting
5th book. I
protecting
liked
him.
him.
And let's remember, he's also got a horn.
And he's got that horn that's supposed to control
Oh.
the dragons.
Call the dragons.
Call the dragons, but when you blow
When you
it,
blow it, you die.
You die.
basically.
So someone has to
nasty.
sacrifice.
But still,
themselves
that's one
to
hell
call
of a
the
weapon
dragon.
to
That's a weapon.
be walking over there, riding over there
Yeah, shipping over there.
and showing up with,
So you got this armada. So yeah, all right. So this kind of segues in. Let's review POV characters in the books. The Ironborn, right? You got Victorian, who's with his armada, he's supposed to go and abduct Daenerys, but he's already thinking about taking Daenerys for himself.
Oh, he wants to refer a bride. Yeah.
Well,
he doesn't
yeah.
want to
He's
bring
not
him
taking
back,
it back
to,
for his
to,
brother.
to
No,
Aaron.
no, he's
However
just going to
it
take her, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just going to take her.
As a salt wife.
Theon
Yeah, he
/
wants
Reek
to-
is with Stannis snowed over outside of Winterfell.
Yep.
You know, is
No,
or
they're all
undisclosed
dead
location.
according to the
No, the letter that Jon Snow
got.
got, but you're breaking the head. Hold on a second. But Asha, also known as Yara, in the TV show, she's there also.
Yarasha?
Stannis actually promised her off as a bride to one of the old disgusting night guys, right?
Yeah.
And so she's captive there with Stannis. So Stannis is miles away from Winterfell, snowed in. Theon's there because he saved the fake Arya, which is actually Jane.
Jane
Jane
what's her name?
Westerling?
Jane.
No.
Jane Poole?
Janie Poole. Yeah, Janie Poole. Pretending to be Stark. So they still think she's Arya because
Yeah, they
nobody
think
else
she's
can
Arya.
identify her.
Yeah, only Reek knew it's for
So
a fact.
he saves her. They escape Winterfell. He escapes Ramsay. Theon grows a pair of balls, finally.
Well, he didn't lose his balls.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, shit.
There's nothing growing down there, man.
I should say he found his courage.
He and Ferris are now in
Yes,
the
he
same
found his courage. Yes. He found his
Thursday
courage.
night card club.
He
Well,
helps
you know-
her escape.
He lost his penis,
Yeah.
kept his balls. Varys lost his balls, kept his penis.
Really?
Well, eunuchs to cut off the balls, but you still can urinate and shit.
Ah.
Well, shit, regardless. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
But
I need clarification on this, George.
Hold on a second.
Can you please let us know, is a eunuch different than...
As far as I know, when you
a
eunuch, you
than a
still
reek?
have the floppy. You just don't have the ability to make it grow.
You don't have
That's
the
right.
nads.
You still have a flop.
You got a floppy and no nads versus
You got the
nads.
wig, but you don't have the berries.
That's right. Theon was a dick in the box that got mailed off to his dad. That's right.
No. I don't know if...
How'd you get the Frank about the beans?
Yeah.
Sorry. I had to pull another something about Mary reference.
No, they never said if Theon lost the balls, but we do know for a fact that he lost the penis.
Yeah.
We do know that. So
And it wouldn't be a Hobie podcast without at least one penis
Without
reference.
one penis podcast, that's right. So we do know that in regard to the Ironborn, right? So let's stick with Winterfell. We do know that the Freys are there. We know Manderly's there.
Yes, man.
Manderly's important because big difference from the TV show. Manderly knows.
Well, big difference is Manderly is in the book.
Well, yeah, Manderly is actually
Hold on a
there.
second. He's
Anyone-
actually not just there. He's a big character.
Yeah,
Literally.
Wyman Manderly is a very, 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 very large man, supposedly.
Yeah.
We're talking a guy who can't walk anymore,
Lord
but
too
used
fat
to be
for his horse,
yeah,
or whatever.
Lord
Too
too
big for
fat
his
for his
horse.
right. But
So
he's
yeah,
a
he
huge
helped
character
Davos.
now
He
because
is
he
a huge
has
character, literally and figuratively.
he knows what the phrase did. He despises it. He
Yep.
is willing to now help his
Supposedly,
As soon as his
supposedly
son-
on their way up there, he was murdering Freys on the way up there. Remember
Well,
their move?
Oh, yeah.
Because he had the first
At least two Freys
Yes.
never
at least two Freys.
reappeared.
Never reappeared. That's right. And he had Davos there. In Davos' storyline, when Stannis sent him to Manderly,
Yeah.
Manderly held him, supposedly executed him, but it was fake in order to appease the Freys, since apparently they've come into power basically
Freys and
south
the-
of the Northern
and the
Kingdom
Lannisters.
and the Lannisters.
Because the Lannisters had his son
Damn-
held captive.
Yeah, the Freys are everywhere. That's right. Manderly, had his son held captive. And so I always enjoyed that about the book when the guy came to give Davos his dinner. He said, dinner for the dead man.
Man.
And so Davos kept thinking, well,
He
it's
was
because
going-
I'm going to get
He's dead man walking, no,
Yeah,
he's
but
actually dead.
the keymaster
Right.
or whatever, the
No.
guy, the
I'll say-
jailmeister was actually joking. He's like, yeah, you're actually dead, but you don't know it yet.
No, that's what pissed me off in reading the books. And
Mm-hmm.
you get to the part in the fourth book or whatever, late in the fourth book, where they confirm that Davos is dead, and I'm like, he's one of my favorite characters.
He turns out to be
as
a
a
favorite
minor
character,
As a minor
doesn't he?
character, he was
Yeah.
he's my favorite minor character anyway.
Yeah,
and
because he's the blue collar
exactly.
yeah,
And
onion
it's
knight
that's
who's
right.
just trying to deliver onions, just trying to make men's meat for his kids and his wife
Mm-hmm.
back home, and so he's got to get a little bit shady in order to make things happen. And damned if he didn't become the hand of the
the hand of
Hand of
Stannis.
Stannis.
the hand of Stannis,
But I mean also
minus
it was-
some
minus
phalanges.
fingers, minus half
fingers.
his fingers.
Stannis still said, you're still a thief
A
and a
thief.
smuggler. I still have to punish you.
But what I really liked about it, like you said, was Davos is loyal to Stannis, even though Stannis is probably one of the worst potential kings in the story.
No, Stannis is pure black and white.
Yeah, exactly.
There is no gray with that guy.
But he also,
Which makes him the perfect king, in my opinion. It makes him.
Could be.
I think, in my opinion, makes him the worst potential king.
No, black and white.
There are times when I root for Stannis, and there are times that I don't. He's not one of my favorite guys. I actually fear what that guy's going to do next.
But I mean, the simple fact that Stannis is following the ways of the Red God. I can't pronounce it. But that's it. But him, and he's got, Melisandre with him. And Davos flat out doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe in their religion, but he's still loyal, even though he can't agree with their religion.
His king is misguided, and he's still going to stick by his guy.
But he still believes that he's the rightful king. So I mean, it's like I like Stannis' point of view chapters. I'll put it that way.
Davos.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you like
Davos point of view chapters.
So that's good. So Maine at least figured it out. They actually believe they know where Rickon is. He goes to Winterfell, and one of the expressions, of course, is the North never forgets. 2 Freys end up dead along the way, mysteriously, and the Freys and the Manderleys and the Boltons are all holed up in Winterfell.
Because the snows came
Because
through.
the snows came
By
through.
snows, I mean the actual snow, the stuff that falls from the
Yes.
not the bastards from the north.
Not the bastards from the north. So they're all there. Mance is there under a glamour spell.
Yeah, I didn't catch
And
that
his other
at
wives.
all until the letter. I was like, oh shit, that was supposed to be Mance. Oh,
Yeah, so
now.
but you got in order to know that Mance is alive, because this is something that we're going to see, and it's rumored that we're going to see at the beginning
of the season,
of the next season.
Yeah.
We're going to see Mance burn. Will they stick with the ability of giving Melisandre the ability to
Because her magic is actually growing at the wall.
But we don't know that in the show. But it's growing at the wall. We know that. But what I'm saying is, she is. We know that she's already taken a liking or an interest in Jon.
Yes. In the books. Yes.
But why is she taking an interest in Mance? Is it because he's a king beyond the wall and he's got?
No, because
there's something got to be there.
Well,
why is he?
She's seeing stuff in her flames because she's not telling Stannis or
behind
Selyse everything.
Mance Rayder.
Because she sees.
Why
something.
are we protecting his kid? His name, like, what is it about him? And that's,
she doesn't know that his.
You're right. You're right. She doesn't know the
switcheroo
has occurred. That's correct.
Gilly's baby.
But I'm just.
Sam doesn't figure it out until it's like way too late.
Well, until Gilly tells him.
He's like, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Well, so anyway, obviously at the wall we're dealing with.
All right. So at
Winterfell we're dealing with.
Heavy
snows.
Dealing with,
everybody thinks that Stannis and them are stuck, but we don't know for sure. And the wall.
He's at the Karstarks, and he executes the Karstarks because they fell in line with Bolton. Right. So in his mind, they're traitors.
Yep.
Still.
But then the girl Karstark comes up to the wall for protection.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I mean that was
who
Jon
which was an interesting addition that he made a lot out of that. I'm not.
There's got to be more coming from that
because Melisandre saw that. She said it's Arya that's coming to you.
She said a young girl escaping a wedding.
That's true. She didn't say Arya, but she alluded to that it was Arya.
He thought it was Arya,
right? And so Jon is excited, thinks it's going to be Arya. Instead, it's this Karstark girl.
Yes.
And now that really launched what happened at the wall. Mm-hmm. To occur next. Jon is beside himself. He gets the letter.
That's supposedly from Ramsay Bolton.
Right.
Saying, basically,
Stannis is dead. We've wiped everybody out.
Everyone's
We're
dead.
holding somebody...
Arya?
No. He said he married Arya.
Or he married Arya.
So he thinks that Arya is a captive of the Boltons, has been forced to marry. He thinks she's down there, which is the reason why he finally says... I'm going. Who's coming with me?
Who's coming with me? Wildlings, Night's Watch, and of course he breaks his oath. The Night's Watch guys, as they're stabbing him, they're crying because they really liked his leadership. even though he's doing some very controversial things, he realizes to protect everybody south of the wall, he needs as many people as possible. So he absorbs the wildlings into the Night's Watch and mixes the Night's Watch with the wildlings. And he sends his buddies
shaky
off.
results.
Shaky results.
Oh, they do
he
not
sends
go
the
along.
guys he trusts the most, that are still alive.
Yeah.
The guys that are his left and right hands, he
Sends
sends
them
them
east
away because he knows he's got to rebuild the castles along the wall. He's got to defend it. And he sends them all off.
He's also going to try and rescue the
people that are at the bay.
at the bay who are stuck
out to the east.
and who
Well, he's
Melisandre is
doing
seeing
it to
in
try
the
to get as
flames,
many
but-
people as physically
He
possible.
Trying what he can
there
do to get as
protect.
many people.
Well,
He's letting
he's
the
just
But
in
that's
over
why,
his head.
though, this is a moment of weakness in John, where Arya is a weakness to him. He should have realized, he should have known that if he breaks it right there, that he's, they're gonna.
Yeah.
They have every right to do it. I still have a problem with it, though, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm not sure really exactly what's going on here, because I think
He turned down the release from Stannis as well. Stannis said,
he
"I'll
turned
put you
down
in
a-
Winterfell."
So Stannis was going to
Exactly.
give him Lord of Winterfell. You're
But
right.
he smelled something there. He's like, this doesn't seem right. He made the Ned decision. He knew what Ned would say and say, don't do it. It's not. There's something that stinks about this.
but
but
for
what-
his own best interests, it would have been great for him. You're Lord of Winterfell.
Absolutely, it would have been for his
I'm
own interest,
king,
but that's
and you
why
are-
we love John.
Yeah.
He's not there for his own interests.
That's why
he's
we
there.
love-
To try, he's trying. In fact, the last
Trying
person
to
he
do
ever
it.
thinks of is himself,
Yeah.
Exactly.
which is what ultimately is going to get him killed. And yes, he is dead.
You think he is?
He's dead.
So
He's dead. But
I don't think
But-
brings
but
him back with the kiss.
there
of
are
life.
multiple things that could bring John back, and we've seen it. There's been a precedent set in the books with Catelyn, Lady Stoneheart. Obviously she was brought back to life by somebody, by a red priest.
A red priest, yeah.
By the red-
Melisandre
what's
has
his
that
name
in her,
from
although
the
she may not
Brotherhood
know
Without
exactly how to do
Banners?
it.
Yes.
Melisandre has the power. Will she be the one who does it?
Well, if you think he's dead,
Or
I
does
I
she-
don't
Melisandre
know.
would do it.
Or
in a
does
heartbeat, I
Melisandre
think.
realize that he may be the Azor Ahai? He may be not Stannis.
Right.
It may be him.
She's given him some funny looks in the show.
That's right.
We know in the books that she's talked to him. She's offered herself up to him.
Oh yeah.
She's she's trying to figure him out because she can't get a beat on him. And this is why I think this is the song of ice and fire.
Yeah.
Melisandre is on the side of fire. So she can't bring John back. But the others possibly could.
Possibly.
That's the one theory that to me holds some intrigue and some absoluteness that could
Because
truly occur.
John is dying. He's been stabbed several times. There's also the theory that he wargs into his wolf.
Which we know there's
Which
a
we
chance
know
that
is
he could do,
possible
but we haven't
because-
seen it actually happen
Yes, we
in the
have.
book. Not
We've
fully.
seen
He's
the
done it
wild
in his
one.
sleep.
He's done it in his dreams, and that's
But
it.
They talk about wargs going into their animals after their real body dies and all that kind of stuff. And you've seen it with one of Mance's guys. One of Mance's guys
Orell?
did it.
Yeah.
Orell, yeah.
He was, the
warged into the
hawk
hawk,
or whatever
it was.
and then he died, and
died,
so
but
he
he
stays
jumped into the hawk.
Right.
And then the hawk attacks later on.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, there is the chance that he does that, but the fact that he, that character, what was his name?
Orell.
He knew how to do this already. John he's not sure about what all that is. I don't think he
In
can.
an
work.
act of survival and desperation.
Exactly.
The wall
I
was
bet he
built
could.
with two things: a ton of manpower and magic.
Yeah.
The magic that is within the wall is something that only Northmen and Starks
The ancients.
and the ancient and the giants and all of them
Melisandre-
understand, and the children, they all understand it.
Melisandre feels it.
And here we are at getting at a point in the books where if he lives through the whole thing, I would understand that, and I would follow some suit. But
Well,
when you
I'll
think about
say
the number of
yes to
times
it,
that he was stabbed,
It'll surprise me if
It-
they actually kill him off. Because in
he won't be totally dead, though.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
he
saying.
won't be,
He'd
but-
be coming back.
in my mind, there are 3 characters that they will not kill off,
No
at
matter
least
what.
until the final battle. But
Jon Snow,
Jon Snow,
Daenerys
Daenerys,
Targaryen,
and Tyrion.
Tyrion.
Those
Lannister.
3 are, in my opinion, shoo-ins to survive to at least the final battle. Now, granted, I didn't expect Jon Snow to be stabbed 37 times or however many times
they... but, all right, so...
37.
A lot. So...
That's what I'm saying. You don't survive that, man.
You don't survive that,
You don't
man.
survive it.
But Samwell Tarly and Gilly, Mance's son, Aemon dies on the trek.
Yep.
They stop by Bravos. Yep. Samwell and Arya meet, unbeknownst to them.
Unbeknownst to each other, yes.
But Samwell ends up in Old Town because he's got to get his meistership.
Yep.
And so that's where Samwell and Gilly actually end up.
That's where their stories.
That's where their story
right
is.
Now.
Yes.
Arya has been going through her training at the temple.
Yes.
Of
She
death.
has provided the gift to many a person.
Yes, and she's proven her wily, murdersome technique.
And we
with
found
the
out
poison
what the
coin.
faceless man is.
Old Jacques. The faceless man is death.
Well, but their ability to change faces.
Oh yeah. You mean to remove someone's face?
You mean
and put
to
it on
literally
your own?
remove somebody's face and put it on yours.
They actually had that room of faces that she had seen.
Which is...
Didn't I see that in the terrible John
Travolta?
Skin faces.
At that point, I thought, okay, Travolta's coming out now.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, that was a great, part of the book. Where you're like, oh, so that's how they're doing it.
But yeah, Jacques and the Gare, he was.
But in the TV
he's
show,
like, we might meet again, but you won't.
It changes.
So, we might meet again, but you won't recognize me.
Right.
I'll be somebody different. But I mean,
so
then watch her going through the
Arya
training. It makes more
in
sense.
training and doing very well.
She's becoming a young woman.
And becoming quite the
woman.
sniper in her own way. And
I like the fact that she recognizes the bard that John sent with Sam.
I forgot.
Because she realized he was
he's
a Night's Watch,
right.
broken his vow.
So she kills
him.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's what Daddy used to do. I mean, that's what Ed said.
You made a vow, and if you broke your vow, you're going to die. And whether you think
and
you
it's
got
up
away
to the
from
Starks to take. So she felt it was her duty to take him out.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Do like that and all.
So we like Arya's spot where she's at right now.
We like it, and it's going to get even darker.
And we've
possibly.
got. So we've talked about what's going on at the wall in the books. We've talked about now Arya's position. So we've got
Sansa is. As we talked about TV show, she's at the same place. She's at the Vale.
She's still,
with Littlefinger.
Yeah, not much more has happened in the books.
Not a whole lot with that, other than Littlefinger. I think we are building Sansa into that character that she's going to turn into a
Littlefinger,
an amazingly powerful and potentially deceitful woman.
Cersei.
So no, I don't think she would ever be as bad as Cersei.
But she
lived
learned
through it.
from Cersei.
She learned something. You're
learn
exactly right, Jeff.
For all the
and she's learned from Littlefinger. What else does she know right now?
Oh yeah,
Littlefinger and Cersei. That's what she knows.
And Catelyn,
and everybody's dead.
She'll still have Catelyn.
Her mother's
her
dead.
Essence.
Her mother's dead.
How do you think?
And she was ready to. She could have thrown herself from the top of the tower. She was talking about doing it many times. Yeah. She's like, I'm done. I don't know what's going on. But she survived all this. And
but she decides she wants to be a survivor now. So
now she wants to be a survivor. So now she's got to play the game. So
she's
playing the game of Thrones.
She's around. She's going to learn how to play the Game of Thrones.
And she's learning from Littlefinger, which is awesome.
Because
Littlefinger, the only thing he never had was the name.
Exactly.
Now he's got the name.
Exactly.
So, but they also said that we might see. Somebody said that they felt Sansa would very likely knock off Littlefinger coming up here in the next book.
No, that's potential.
A possibility.
That Littlefinger might be the one to die.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
because we know in Winds of Winter we're going to see at least 3 or 4 major characters out.
Yeah. I think Sansa's going to keep Littlefinger around. I think she's going to take control of the situation.
Yeah,
she's going to use
it's in her best interest to keep him around.
To keep him around.
Okay, I like that
idea. Him as a pawn instead of be his pawn.
I would agree with that.
Maybe she could exact the Stark revenge.
That would be if she's actually learned something. If she just literally learned from Cersei and that is it, and that's all she knows.
Oh no!
She's going to kill Littlefinger at the moment she has a chance.
No, I think she's learned enough from Littlefinger to realize she learned to be ruthless from Cersei. But the game is Littlefinger.
Yeah,
so
planning way ahead, Littlefinger.
So we've got a dead Tywin and Jamie is off with Brienne,
Kevin
right?
Lannister gets,
Oh,
never
yeah.
existed in a TV show, but Kevin Lannister,
They had Kevin in
basically
there.
was
Very minor
I think,
league.
yeah, he's way in the background, but
Yeah,
I don't.
Kevin Lannister.
He was at the meetings in Harrenhal, and they were deciding
They've
what
said
to
that
do.
they're not going to. That they thought about bringing him in, and they actually even had him cast, and then they told the person no.
No, but actually,
okay.
Jamie.
So Kevin
the TV
Lannister will
show
not be
kinda
in the
picks up some
shows,
of
which
Kevin
means-
Lannister stuff.
What the fuck is going to happen in Westeros when all the shit that goes down with Cersei?
Exactly.
Right.
So who's going to drop into
Kevin
that
was
role?
the stabilizing force.
My guess is that
Yeah.
not everything that happens to Cersei in the books is going to
gonna
happen
happen.
in the show.
So
Probably
she's not going to go to...
I think she'll be shamed. I think that the whole carry through
Well, we
the
know she's
town,
gonna
all
get
that's going to
shamed
occur.
by
the-
She's
But
going to get thrown in jail.
But
But
Tommen
Tommen is
is-
still
There
the.
has to be.
Tommen's still, older. But he's
little
still
bit.
not going to be able to...
Marjorie will be running things.
You
and
think
she'll
Marjorie's
take
going
care
to
of
take
that, yep.
over everything?
Marjorie will hang in there for a while. And,
I can't argue that because, honestly, Marjorie's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Just,
I think
mean,
she's going to kind of start
you-
taking
she's
control
like,
of stuff.
She's like Cersei if Cersei was smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. We do know that she does the Walk of Shame in the TV series. So she does the Walk of Shame in the books, of course. So are they going to bring in the High Septon? The crazy
They have
lunatic-
cast the High Septon.
Yeah, I'd heard.
crazy
it.
lunatic
They have
High
cast the
Septon's
High
gonna come
Septon.
in.
He will be there.
Because Kevin Lannister and Cersei actually sets herself up for her own failure.
Oh, yeah,
Because
she signs the High Septon.
She signs the High
decree
Septon,
that he's
right.
got his own-
Which then allows him then to
Yeah.
fucking
lets him create
arrest
his
her.
own army again, like his own, crazy.
We all thought Cersei
nice-
was smarter than this, right? Come on.
Her own-
I did until that happened.
Until that happened.
her
right?
own-
Yeah.
that's right. Her own delusion to maintain power through her children.
And
Because
eventually
being a
it was
woman
going to
in
bite her.
Westeros, that's the only way she can do it.
So she gets thrown in jail. She finally owns up to sleeping around
Yeah.
to get herself out so she could be with
Yeah.
Tommen.
Yeah, she owns up to the minor crimes.
The
to
minor
protect
crimes.
the
But,
major
here's
ones,
the deal. She has a trial by combat coming, doesn't she?
Yes.
which has not happened yet.
Which has not happened
She's
yet.
going to take the
She's
reincarnation of the
going to
mountain.
take the mountain's golem that her
Whatever.
ex-meister, former meister,
Qyburn.
Qyburn, is going to run it. So who is going to fight? Because originally she thought Jamie was going to come save her.
Yeah, she's given up on
And
that.
she's given up on that. Yeah, because Jamie gets
No,
that letter and he just
the
basically
mountain
tears it up.
reincarnate.
Yeah.
That's who's going to fight for her.
She's-
Yes.
What's his?
Yeah.
But who's going to fight for
The church.
the church, or is it for Marjorie? I can't remember. Hold on a
Marjorie's trial. She's having a
Marjorie's
trial.
already
Marjorie got a regular trial.
Marjorie's
Marjorie's
having a regular trial.
And she's been fine.
She.
I
Well,
didn't think they had her trial yet.
I don't
At
know.
I
the
don't
end
know.
of
I
the
thought,
trial.
I thought we
They
were
let her
assuming
go.
that she's fine.
I think we're
She's still gonna be
assuming she
trial.
will be because everything against her is false.
No, I think what they do is they take the highest level Kingsguard, whoever that would be at the time.
That'd be Jamie.
No.
So you think Jamie's
Oh,
going
it
to have
won't
to
be,
fight the
Kingsguard.
mountain?
It would be the whatever the church soldiers are called.
Oh, right. So.
Will it be Lancel?
Ah, yeah, there you go, Lancel Lannister. All right, well, that's who we're gonna see,
I'm not sure who will be the.
and the mountain's just gonna step on him.
Oh, whatever happens, that won't even be close. So Cersei's going to be innocent
Cersei's
through
fine.
the combat.
Dancing through combat. She's going to be fine.
I think
You're
Cersei
gonna
has
deal
to
with
make
Cersei's
it
gonna
all
be a
the way to
survivor.
whatever the bitter end
That's
is
right,
for her.
she
She's
is.
gonna make it.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about that in the prophecies. Yes.
I thought we were on the prophecies.
No, we're talking about the Cersei's blood prophecy. That's later from Maggie the Witch.
Oh, we're
We're
still
still
in what
talking
we
about
know.
POV characters and what we know, where they're at.
All right, let's move on the POV character then. Who we got?
Jamie
Tyrion.
meets up with Brienne
Okay.
because Brienne came across Lady Stoneheart,
Yeah.
Catelyn Stark.
Right.
Pod,
So now they got to go
And
find.
Pod's
was
dead.
it? Pod is dead?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Pod died. He hung.
Brienne watches Pod hang.
Oh.
And Brienne is given
Brienne was
the
hanging.
option. Brienne was given the option, sword or rope. And she yells out, has been confirmed, sword. So whatever that means. But I mean, maybe a trial by combat. Because they put the noose around her, they're ready to hang her, and she yells out one word. And George R. Martin in interviews has already confirmed that it wasn't Jamie as she screams. She screams sword. So she was
I'm
given
gonna
the
have to go back
option
and
of
read.
sword
Yeah,
or
okay.
rope.
The last I knew was she was hanged by the rope and
She's
the chapter
getting
ended.
hanged, yes.
And so I was like, crap, they can't kill Brienne, especially that way. Especially
and then
from
she
Catelyn.
shows up where Jaime's at
Yeah.
and says, Arya or Sansa is nearby, you must come with me now. And Jaime's like, okay, let's go. So Jaime, in the meantime, has been doing everything he promised Catelyn Stark he would do.
In the book, yes.
Never raise a hand against the Tullys or the Starks ever again. He's peacefully turned over River Run.
Yeah.
He's basically bringing peace to the Riverlands, setting things straight. He still keeps practicing with his left against Sir Ilyn, who keeps laughing at him because Jaime goes through these confessions and he's just like.
Since Ilyn can't speak.
Because Ilyn can't speak because his tongue was cut out a long time ago. And he's laughing at Jaime. Is he laughing at Jaime because he knows stuff that he can't tell Jaime? Or he's just laughing at Jaime because, whatever, for whatever reason, etc. So Jaime's doing all that. Jaime, in the beginning of the books, I hate the guy because he pushed brains out the window. But by the time the ends of Dance with Dragons, you're rooting for Jaime because he's finally doing the right damn thing.
And
Which is what
gonna
pissed
get him
me
killed.
off about the television show.
Yeah.
Is they ruined Jaime for me.
They did.
Really?
Jaime is my favorite character in the books. He was the bad guy who's redemption.
Reforming, right?
The story that I love the most is his redemption.
That's right. He throws Bran out the window. He screws Ned Stark over.
But his discussion
He's
of
fucking his sister.
why he killed the king. He only told Brienne was the only person he told.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, he was going to release the fire throughout the entire city and kill everyone.
Yeah, Aerys was basically going to burn
the Mad King
everybody.
was going to burn everyone.
Kill everybody.
Jaime didn't do it because he was, excuse me, Jaime didn't do it because he was helping his father get control. He was doing it to save everybody.
People's lives. You're
and
right.
then Ned walked in and didn't even ask for an explanation. Just so Ned spread all the word, true, but spread the word that,
Well,
Jaime killed the king.
The word. Everybody knew Jaime killed the king.
Because Ned told
him.
Nobody would have known if Ned didn't walk in. No one would have known how the king died.
No.
Ned was the one that
Everybody
spread the
knew
word.
it because Jaime was sitting on the throne when Ned walked into King's Landing.
He was resting.
He's resting on the throne, and he's joking. He was joking around with Ned. It's like, don't worry, I'm not.
That was from
sit here permanently.
That was from Ned's point of view. From Jaime's point of view,
he was resting.
From Jaime's point of view, Ned didn't even give him the opportunity to explain anything.
In Ned's honor, he took an oath to protect the king no matter what.
Yeah,
and he broke that by killing him.
But
and that's a problem. That's a Ned character flaw. Yeah. You're right.
But then Jaime said, "Well, but I also can't disobey my father, and my father told me he wanted to do this." So it's like I have to break some oath somewhere. And he was just so conflicted at a young age.
He was 16 when it happened.
Yeah,
I believe.
He's by far the most conflicted character in the entire story, and that's why everybody loves him. Because you either love to hate him or you hate to love him. And he's doing something that's either going to piss you off or make you scratch your head, or he's doing something valiant, and you're like, yes.
But when he finally decided, I think Brienne brought out the best of him, and he finally decided, he made his agreement with Catelyn. And then in the television show, it always bothered me that he got back to King's Landing before the Purple Wedding. So he gets back, and Sansa is there.
Yeah, that's true.
And his promise was to send Sansa home. Send Sansa back to Winterfell.
Or protect her.
Send the girls to... And he doesn't.
Yeah, but
they give a weak-ass reason.
Yeah, there's some...
It was weak-ass.
Inferences of...
He's like, she's safer here because her mother's dead now. It's like, no, he
could
still
keep
would
an
have
eye on her, and he could see where she's at.
He could still protect
and he
her.
could protect. I understand your
Tyrion.
disconnect with that, and I kind of agree with it. But at the same time, for the way the TV show works, I don't think you can have him not come back. If you just keep having him wandering around, you forget who he is. He is a Kingsguard. He is the father of the king.
But he's a Kingsguard, the father of the king, who was sitting at the wedding feet away from his son King as he was dying. So he was also a pretty shitty protector at that.
Yes, he was, which is the tragedy
But-
of the Kingslayer.
But he
Jack
wasn't
Joffrey,
there.
that's
But he
right.
wasn't there in the book. And I mean, that type of stuff, they're just killing his character.
In the
for
book,
me.
you have that same feeling that he's a tragic character. In the TV show, you've got to get. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I mean, it's
Yeah, we're talking
how
books here, man.
And we're not even talking the
TV
rape
show.
scene.
I understand. Well,
Which rape scene?
Let's move.
In the TV show, when Jamie pretty much rapes Cersei at the foot of Joffrey's casket,
yes, at the casket.
which was completely different in the book.
That's correct.
I mean, it was because like Cersei in the TV show is fighting him off, saying no, no, no. Well, in the book, it was the first time he saw her in.
It was
over
the first
a
time
year.
he had got to see her. He comes back.
He
and
comes
there's Joffrey
back,
dead,
and Joffrey's
She-
already dead. And
She
that's
actually
the
kind of
first time.
seduces him, doesn't
She
she?
does.
Yeah, she does. And then he's the one in later later parts of the chapters of the book that says no to her.
Yeah,
She doesn't say no
So
to
do
him.
they have to fuck every time a family member dies, like on their casket?
probably.
Did they do it for Tywin?
I don't know. Let's find out. Season 5 starts in 8 days, folks.
Well, they got to start with some kind of nudity.
All right, Tyrion.
Tyrion. We know Tyrion is in or outside of Marine. He just got himself enlisted with one of the hired mercenary.
The Golden
the
Company.
The Gold Company,
No,
yeah.
not the Golden Company. The Golden Company is with Aggie and what's his name?
Well, that's what I was saying. You go
But
go
the
back
company-
a little bit to where he was going down the
He
river.
leaves the mercenary company. He finds an opportunity. He takes Penny with him, right?
Oh yeah. But when he was
That's right.
They became
Okay,
slaves.
so where he
for
is
the
right
slave
now,
Where he is
right
right
now,
now, yeah,
we
that's
know
what I'm
that
They're in the
he is-
camps right outside.
They're in the camps
Marine.
outside of
Marine.
Marine. He is still technically a slave, but he's kind of gotten out of that.
He got out of that
he
because
got
he
out of the
signed
Golden
with the
Company.
hired.
Him and Jorah signed with the Golden. He got convinced
Jorah Mormont,
Jorah and himself to get signed with the Golden Company as sellswords, and they're going to be
promised them a lot of money.
They're going to be in the war.
Yeah.
So that's what we know where they're at. But what I'm saying with Tyrion's story is very, very important because we go all the way back to where they're going to start the beginning of this year in the show, and where we start book 4, I think.
when he takes his
he
boat
starts
trek
trekking down the
Varys
river
sends
with the
him
griffs.
with the griffs.
Griffin.
Yes.
And which
But
we
there's
find
no
out
Aegon
later
in
is
the
that
series.
it's Aegon.
But I
We
don't
have
think there's any
found
Aegon
out
in the
that
TV series.
Aegon is cut
Is he?
From the
Oh,
TV
he
show. From
completely
the
is.
TV show. So
It's gonna be
that tells me
completely focused on Daenerys.
So
that
there's no.
Egg
That entire Styria
is
is gone.
not a
Aegon-
Targaryen. He's a Blackfire, or he's just an imposter. But it begs the question:
No,
why the
there's
fuck is
Connington.
Mapatis
Connington.
and why is Connington playing
And Varys,
along,
they're-
and why
they're
is
not the-
Varys
they're
playing
not the
along? They're
endgame winners,
all
apparently.
playing along.
They're not the endgame winners.
Here's why: they want the focus off of Dany because they all know Dany is down here in Marine.
Yeah.
Let Egg go do his thing. If they think he is who he is, they start a revolution, but they know that there's no way the first wave's going to win it. Then Dany comes in with her dragons and can take over, and
I
they
think
put
he
the
really
person
is
on the seat that they want. I think what Varys and what Illyrio and what everybody has wanted from the get-go is Dany on the throne.
Well, the one clip I've seen, with
And she marries Jon Snow.
that's what everyone.
No, one's got to die.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I know.
Well, we know there's two. There's
Oh, but
Song of Ice
she
and Fire.
she can marry Aegon because they're.
Snow, ice, Daenerys, fire.
She can marry Aegon because they're Targaryens and they interbreed.
That's what they do.
So, I mean,
Sick
Aegon and
bastards.
Daenerys
Which is
together
why they
makes
sent
sense.
Egg down there in the first place, was go get your cousin,
Go get your
go
cousin.
fuck her
Niece,
brains
your
out,
young- your
marry her
older
up.
niece, or no.
Exactly. You're older.
grab her,
Oh,
take her
actually-
and her dragons
No, he's
over
about
to
a year older than her.
Westeros.
Is.
Yes, exactly. But it's Tyrion who puts the idea in Connington's head because Connington.
Connington
and
was
Aggie,
going toward.
They
They were
put in
going to
Connington and
Daenerys.
Aggie,
Yeah.
but Connington contracts that disease,
The
Yeah,
gray,
it's the
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 Great
gray,
Death or whatever,
Whatever
the
it's
hell
called.
grayscale.
grayscale, and he realizes it, and he's
And he
like,
realizes he's got a
I've
short
got a
amount of
limited
time.
amount of time, so they accelerate the plan that Tyrion told Aggie and him to go do, which was like, you're going
Which
to be a
in some-
beggar going to Daenerys, and she's got dragons.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? How are you going to convince her? You know, if I were you, I'd go over there right now and kick some ass. Blah blah blah. And that's what he decided.
So that's what they decided to do. So as we leave off, they are over there in Westeros
They're
now.
attacking Storm's End.
They had already got
the Stormlands. They've taken over the number of places.
And the Martells are coming up because they've heard rumor that there's a Targaryen, and they were actually the whole time kind of on their side. And so Ariana's coming up, and we're all going to meet. We're all going to find out, is Egg the real deal? Now,
Oh, if he is now, that'd be great because he's half Dornish. Because his mother was Dornish.
Yes, Ilaria. Yes, Rhaegar's wife that had two children.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean that'll get the
they're already on board.
The Dorn,
but I mean that'll definitely.
Ariana in her point of view
obviously
from Winds of Winter says she's up there to find out. I got to find out if this. I've been told to find out, is this really who we think he is? And of course the hair and everything is supposed to give him away. But when we've received now again, things can change. But when the TV show, when we know that part has not been cast, for season 5, and there's no plans for season 6.
It may just fit into the TV show.
We know the TV show is going to head down the river this year.
Ultimately, I think
they're heading down the river without Egg.
Without an egg.
What it says is Egg is not an end player.
He's not an end player.
He's a player right now, but he's not an end player.
So we can safely assume anyone who's
that's a huge spoiler
because
I thought he was going to become one of the big end players.
Exactly.
Right. I'm sorry to ruin it.
But it's also not surprising that Martin would, I guess, not take a character that he introduced 4 books in to all of a sudden be, the main character. Then again, for all we know, everybody's going to kill each other in a fucking Tarantino-style film, and Bronn's going to sit on the Iron Throne. So
nope, it's Rickon. Rickon is going to end up.
So whatever you do, don't sit there and admit that you're the fucking snitch. You're the undercover cop, all right? If you keep your mouth shut, you live, okay?
Exactly.
He was going to be dead anyway. He was bleeding out.
That's right.
All right, so
moving on.
That gives us everyone, right? So prophecies.
Davos. We covered everybody. Victarion's on his way with a fleet.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think we got everything.
The Ironborn, the Lannisters, right? We got the Starks.
Yep.
We got Brienne. Conningtons.
We got Brianna.
We even got John Connington into it, Blake. We're good. We're moving forward.
Into it. We got everybody. Okay, let's move forward. Let's go.
Moving on.
Moving right along.
All right.
So, Blake, what do you see happening? Look at your
crystal
ball.
I'm looking at my crystal ball, and I'm going to see some prophecies. I'm going to see some very important prophecies. And I'll list them here, and we'll talk about a few, because I think a few are very important. The first one is the Green Seers, and Jojen and Bran Stark and the Three-Eyed Crow. That's going to play a major part in the end books, I believe.
Oh, it will. Bran's got a major part to play.
Got a major part to play.
He'll just be gone for a while.
He's just going to be gone. Yeah, he said. Daenerys' vision in the House of the Undying. If you break down those scenes one by one, some of those visions have already come true. Next one, Cersei's blood prophecy from Maggie the Witch. I think this is a very important one because I think eventually this is how we're going to see Cersei die.
And it's what drives Cersei crazy.
It
drives her motivations and it drives her crazy.
And the next one, of course, is the prophecy of the prince that was promised, the Azor Ahai, which I think is a driver between Melisandre and Horlor and Stannis and originals from Rhaegar. Aemon, at the end of the book, he starts ripping stuff off as he's dying in the ship, on the ship to Old Town.
So you're saying I should have paid more attention.
You should have paid more attention to him. And then, of course, there's Old Nan's tales. Old Nan starts. We don't even know if she's dead. She may be still alive.
I think we can look at Old Nan's tales as some of the more popular ones because they have historically been true.
Her tales are more of a history, not of what's to come.
Right, but they explain a lot about the others and some other things.
Yeah, all the things that happened to the giants and the wargs and those.
But see, to me, those things are much more. You can have a much more of a solid theory about what's going to happen because of the history of what truly has already happened. And I think what we will find here is whenever you look up theories or you come up with your own, you find quick ways to get rid of them.
Yeah.
But there are some that are more solid than others. And can I ask you to start with the Aemon theory, please?
Now, the Aemon theory is something that I came up with myself.
Maester Aemon Targaryen.
Yeah.
So this is
Master
a
Aemon.
Blake theory. This one has not been actually recorded on a blog.
Yes.
This one has not. This is an original thought, folks.
This is an original thought.
Until you Google it and someone else already came up.
No, it'll happen right
exactly.
now because it's
It'll
going to
happen
get.
right now. But Aemon, when he starts, Aemon is dying on the ship ride. And
On
he's-
the way to
he's
Old
horribly-
Town with
on
Sam
the way
and
to Old
Gilly.
Town with Sam and Gilly. Aemon starts spilling off crazy stuff.
He does.
And there's a couple of things that he keeps talking about. And he keeps talking about there's 3 heads of the dragon.
Right.
The dragon has 3 heads, right?
Yeah.
And he keeps saying it again and again. The dragon has 3 heads. Dragon has 3 heads. So essentially, what that could mean is, naturally, there's 3 Targaryens that are in line for the throne, right? In theory, that's Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes.
Who's the second one? That could be
Aegon.
Aegon, maybe.
Well, we know he's probably no longer.
Probably no longer going to be an end player because of the TV show.
But he is a living Targaryen.
He could be a living Targaryen.
Most
if
people
not
have a theory
Valyria's
that
son.
Jon Snow is also a Targaryen.
And of course, the Rhaegar plus
Yeah.
Lyanna equals Jon Stark, which could be him, right?
Yeah.
So he keeps spouting that off, and the other thing he keeps spinning off is he's talking about the Sphinx is the riddle, not the Riddler. So who is the Sphinx? The Sphinx is an allusion to one of Oberyn's children, whose name is Sorella. Now, Sorella spelled backwards is Alaris. Alaris is in the books as
Maester in training at Old Town.
Meister in training in Old Town.
The only reason I know this is because I was reading your outline. I'm like, I don't know
Yeah.
what he's talking about, so I had to look this up.
Yes. So Aemon keeps talking about the Sphinx is the riddle, not the Riddler. So what part does...
What the fuck do you
Sorella,
make out
I
of
think
that
he is.
though? What is that alluding you to? What is your
don't know.
conclusion
That's
from that?
great. I didn't go full
Oh,
bore
yeah,
into
it's
this
a-
thing.
It's a dying man's last words when his brain's popping off
But
things
Aemon-
left
but
and
That's
right.
what.
Exactly.
That's when
He's an old man
He's
popping
open to
things
a
off.
conduit from the cosmos. He's at his weakest. That's when the
So
stuff comes
that's
through.
when
Aemon-
Thor and Loki come into the.
Exactly.
Exactly. Aemon, you have to go back and start reading...
He's got a hammer. He's got a hammer.
You have to go back and start reading things that Aemon keeps saying.
I
Because
gotta go reread all the
Like,
Old
Aemon
Town
knows a
chapters
lot
now.
because he's
We
an
know
old guy.
Aemon's a Targaryen,
Aemon is a Targaryen that had a way to the throne, but
and
Gave
he
up
spoke
abdicated.
in the show and in the book. But in the show, they really made a good point of this to talk about when Sam and him have that moment to talk about. Did you ever love
a
anyone?
woman. Yeah,
Did you ever
exactly.
love a woman? Who was that? And did Aemon break his vow as a maester
Chastity.
and
Did he?
have a kid with somebody? And if so,
Could that be the
who
third head?
is that?
Oh.
Is that Jon Snow? Like some people have said that's Jon Snow, and they were switched with so and so. And it's easy to
that
come
can't
up
be
with
fair.
1,000 different
Thousand
theories.
theories.
I don't.
Simple
I
fact
just.
of the matter is,
I
Jon
was intrigued
Snow
by
will-
your Aemon one because I don't know where it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know
Exactly.
what the end game is with that, Blake. Like the Lyanna and Rhaegar equals Jon Snow. That's
Yeah.
solid. You've
Yeah.
got. I mean, it's so easy
many things
to find that
prove
connection.
Well, I
be
mean, that was
there.
the first thing I thought of when I read the books.
Which
it's
is
like,
why
well,
I keep feeling like it can't be possible that
Because it's
Martin
too
would allow
obvious.
it because it's too
But wait
obvious.
a minute, George Martin did say some fan theories are corrected on the
Well,
spot.
there's so
but he
many
wouldn't-
fucking theories.
But he wouldn't say which ones. But
Yeah.
the whole Lyanna Rhaegar equals Jon Snow makes a lot of sense.
Well, are they going to go ahead and do the Lost thing
Which-
where the fans figured it out, so I'm going to change what it is?
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
good question. He's working on the last 2 books. He has an opportunity still to change
He
how
still
it's
has
going to
Any
end.
point
But-
in time.
But
Which does lead to a lot of theories. I went for a while there with the Ashara Dane theory that it was Ashara who gave birth to Jon Snow, and the kids were swapped because Ashara threw herself from
The
the
tower.
Sunspear Tower after she had given birth. It was at the same time that Lyanna had died, and Ned and who was it who went with him
Was it
came
Selmy?
down from the
Jojen and
Jojen and Mira's father.
Mira's father,
Reed.
Howland.
Howland Reed. He's the only one that's still
I thought
alive.
you were going to say Jojen. I'm like,
No,
what
no.
the fuck?
Howland Reed is the only one that's still
Gonna
alive
slap you.
that was at the Tower of Joy.
Yes. So they go down with. So again, and this was a theory that I had thought could hold some water, but then after I reread some of the things, it was obvious that there's no way that the timing. I mean, the timing can work, but it's just not. It's not logical. But we also do know that there's been a history of people saying, "Let's swap these kids."
Yeah, it's happened at least twice already that we know of. Swapping
And we
babies.
don't know where Gendry is.
Yeah.
And we don't know Jon Snow's original lineage. So there could be something where those two were swapped. They both have black hair. They're both Baratheon
Oh wow.
kids, potentially. So I felt like there could have been a swap of the kids after Ashara threw herself. These theories are so easy to come up with because
One thing
he
I would
leaves
say
it wide
is
open for you, and the obvious just can't be right.
There's no way in hell that Jon Snow is not some sort of Stark. I mean,
He's
maybe-
gotta be.
He's got to be a Stark,
He can
whether it
ward.
be Ned or
He can
Lyanna or
ward.
whatever. He's a Stark.
Yes. And yes, we know they're Stark.
Yeah.
So the idea is that he's either truly Ned's son, bastard son, that he had with,
Dane, what's her name?
Ashara Dane.
Ashara Dane, or
which is where the
somebody
black
else.
hair comes from, and she's Dornish and all that. It actually could work. Or he
Lyanna's.
is Rhaegar and Lyanna, and that was the promise, the great promise that occurred at the Tower
Tower of Joy.
of Joy,
Prince that was promised.
and
Because it had to have the third child. And Ilaria
what, a
Sand.
third child?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole Azor Ahai goofy thing that Rhaegar was buying into, is that he had to have a third child because
right.
Ilaria Sand only had two children. That was Aegis and his sister.
Right.
And she was too weak and frail, and she was unable to bear any more children.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, again, we don't know because nobody can say for sure. But the logical theory is that Rhaegar and Lyanna equals Jon Snow, but it seems too obvious. So I would reach out to other people in the Twitterverse and say, send us your
So
what is
they're
Jon Snow? Just give us the short, who's it? Who's
Well,
it
whatever
gonna
you
be?
can do in
Is it
120
John
characters.
Connington and Daenerys Targaryen somehow hooked up years ago, and it was Jon Snow? Yeah, no.
Daenerys. All right, so let's segue into Daenerys. House of the Undying. While she's going through the House of the Undying, she opens many doors, and she also sees a lot of visions that are presented to her. Now, I'm not going to go into all of them, but I'll give you a sample of one of the visions that she comes across. So, farther on, she came upon a feast of corpses, savagely slaughtered. Feasters lay strewn across overturned chairs and hacked trestle tables, asprawl in pools of congealing blood. Some had lost limbs, even heads. Savage limbs clutched bloody cups, wooden spoons, roast fowl, heels of bread. On a throne above them sat a dead man with the head of a wolf. He wore an iron crown and held a leg of lamb in one hand as a king might hold a scepter, and his eyes followed Dany with mute appeal. That is obviously a vision of Robb Stark and the Red Wedding, because you remember the phrase, in their savage brutality, cut off Robb's head, and took his wolf. They killed his wolf. They cut his wolf's head off.
Grey Wind.
Yeah, it's Grey Wind, and they sewed it onto his body, and they put the crown on it, and they mocked him King of the North, and they
Okay,
paraded
so
him
that's
around
a
afterwards.
vision of the Red Wedding.
So that's a
Gotcha.
vision. So there's 6 visions that she sees, and then in the Undying, the very end, she's got like total of 9 more. So the first one
Jesus,
is
what does
she
that have,
sees-
15
hold on.
visions?
Yeah, she has a lot of the whole.
I thought you said
house,
6.
And then
the
9
whole
more.
house
Now
of the
there's 9
Undying
more.
is huge. So she goes through. She sees a beautiful naked woman being ravished by 4 dwarfs who serve the house. Now, what vision does that represent? Some people say that appears to foretell the War of the Five Kings. I don't know, that's kind of a stretch. She sees a feast of slaughtered corpses holding cups and spoons. That's Robb Stark's Red Wedding, right? She sees her childhood home with a red door and bravos. She sees a throne with dragon skulls on the walls and a king resembling Aerys Targaryen, the Mad King, sitting on a barbed throne and appears to give the order to burn the Red Keep during the sack of King's Landing. Right?
Right.
So that, that would have happened. He was wanting that to happen, and then
So
James
these aren't
tells him
visions as much as they're shots of history
shots
of
of
things
history
that
that
have
she sees
occurred
before
already.
she sees these visions. Right. So she goes in a room where a silver-haired man, presumably Rhaegar Targaryen,
Some Targaryen.
names his son Aegon and says the child is the prince that was promised, and then plays a harp. And then he sees a splinter of wizards who falsely claim that the Undying of Qarth offered to Daenerys teach her secret of dragonkind, right? But the Undying showed Daenerys many more visions before attacking her and being slain by Drogon. First one is they show her Viserys' gruesome death. The second one is a tall lord with copper skin, silver gold hair, beneath the banner of a fiery stallion, with a burning city in the background. And they say this may have been a glimpse of what Rhaegar's future would have been. Not sure about that. She sees a dying prince with rubies flying from his chest, mutters a woman's name with his last breath. Lyanna. A blue-eyed king casts no shadow, raises a red sword in his hand. Some people say this may represent Stannis with Lightbringer, right?
Yeah.
She sees a cloth dragon sways on a pole amidst a cheering crowd. Maybe that's Aegon? Aegie? Symbolizing Aegie?
A cloth dragon. Yeah, because not a real dragon.
Yeah. A great...
I don't know. Maybe that was even what's his name?
Yeah.
Who the Quentin Martell.
Could be. Yeah, Quentin, who dies like a dumbass.
Like a dumbass.
Like a
Hey!
dumbass?
He's got
Yeah,
Targaryen in him.
Yeah,
He thought he was
whatever.
going to.
He thought he
was
could train, whatever. She sees a straight...
Chris is rolling his eyes. It's hilarious.
A great stone beast takes wing from a smoking tower, breathing shadows. Well, that's probably Drogon, right?
Right.
Daenerys is silver, trots through grass in a darkling stream under a sea of
Is her
stars.
Silver still alive?
Her horse?
Her horse?
Wasn't it silver?
I
Could have been,
I
don't
thought
know.
it was dead by now.
A
But
corpse standing at the prow of a ship with bright eyes and gray smiling lips. What would that be? Victorian?
Victorian?
Could be.
Maybe that's Quentin.
And she sees a blue flower growing from a chink in a wall of ice, filling the air with sweetness. That is obviously
Jon Snow.
Jon Snow. That's obviously a Snow reference because of the blue flower. That's a Lyanna Stark reference as well. And he's at the wall of ice.
Which is the ultimate... That's the last vision, right?
Yes.
Which... Jon is dead.
Becomes
They
Blue
bury him
Walker,
in the base
he
of the
becomes
wall.
another.
And the magic of the wall and the others raise him, and he leads the others in the
And
war against Azor Ahai
he leads
and
the others.
the
So
Targaryens.
he's leading the White Walkers?
He is going to lead the White Walkers.
Ooh.
You heard it right here.
Holy shit.
Jon Snow becomes the king,
The
White
king of the
Walker.
White
White
Walkers.
All right, I got no more to say.
And on that
Speechless
point,
now.
at that point,
I think we're heading
All right.
to wrap up.
so that
No. Madness prophecy.
Oh, jeez.
Cersei's prophecy. I like this one.
All right, go for it.
All right. Remember in the Feast for Crows, right? Cersei and her friend consult with Maggie the Frog.
When they were children.
Yes, when they were children. And much to her friend's surprise, the old lady says it. She's like, her friend wanted to marry Jaime, but her Maggie says, you're going to die. And as a matter of fact, it's that very night. And it turns out she did die that very night. But the prediction about Cersei is basically because she's like, well, what about my husband? And she basically is told her husband will have 16 children and she will have 3. The identity of her future husband, eventual face of her children, right? So basically Cersei says, when will I wed the prince? Maggie says, never. You will wed the king. I will be queen, though. And Maggie says, aye, queen you shall be, until there comes another younger, and more beautiful to cast you down and take you.
That damn Snow White.
Take all that you hold dear. And Cersei says, well, the king and I have children. And Maggie says, oh, aye. 6 and 10 for him. Yeah. 16 children for
all his bastards. So she killed most of them.
That's right. Maybe. And 3 for you, which is easy. That's Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen. Gold shall be their crowns, and gold their shrouds, she said. So all 3 of them are going to die. Apparently. Tommen's going to die. And Myrcella. And when your tears have drowned you, the Valancourt shall wrap his hands about your pale white throat and choke the life from you. And she just goes, oh, then Malaria says, am I going to marry Jaime? And Maggie says, not Jaime nor any other man. Worms will be your maidenhead. Or will have your maidenhead, which is your virginity. All right, your death is here tonight, little one. Can you smell or breathe? She's very close. So Cersei remembers this blood prophecy, and she keeps thinking about...
It haunts her.
Obviously. It haunts her, and it drives her because...
It controls her actions.
Because a couple of them have come true, and she's worried that the whole thing could potentially come true. Yeah. But keep in mind, you can still...
So she thinks Marjorie is the other that comes, another
which
younger,
makes a lot of sense. She is.
Oh, it certainly makes sense, but...
could it be Sansa?
But you can't change the prophet. You know, the prophecy will always be there, so you get rid of Marjorie. Okay, it wasn't her, it was this other...
But Melara, her buddy, died that night. And she said, you're going to die tonight.
Right. But here's the thing.
Here's what she said.
She thinks Marjorie's...
Your husband, the king's going to have 16 kids. Yeah. You're going to have 3. So that's already fulfilled as well.
All this prophecy tells us is that we know Cersei's not going to be sitting on the fucking Iron Throne at the end.
That's correct. Somebody's going to...
Let's talk about theories that bring us to who's going to be sitting on that throne.
All right, well, hold on a second.
Because a theory of something that...
Whatever we...
Hey, Doran Martell is going to die because the gout killed him.
Yeah. Well...
okay, he was never a contender for the throne.
So we're talking contenders.
I want to talk about contenders here. I don't want pretenders.
Okay.
You want contenders, you want contenders.
Contenders for the throne. Outside of Daenerys, who is there?
Jon Snow. I think that's a logical thought. But, again, he's very likely dead at the wall.
At best, Jon Snow will sit on the throne married to Daenerys. That's the best, I think it's...
Is Sansa and Littlefinger a possibility?
I don't think so.
I think maybe Sansa may be the more beautiful cast her down and take all that you hold dear, because that'd be the ultimate revenge for Sansa.
She might do that to Cersei, but she's not going to end up on the Iron Throne.
Rickon is your guy.
I would love it to be Rickon. I really would.
Just come out of nowhere. There you go, man.
Or Gendry. Rickon or Gendry. One of those
Some people would tell you they'd like to see Tyrion.
Mm-hmm. Tyrion's not going to... Tyrion doesn't even want the throne. He's already said he doesn't want that. He's going to be the guy behind the throne.
Here's what's going to happen. It's going to suck massively. It's going to turn into like this big democracy, and then there's going to be like a panel of people who end up taking over, and then they're going to split into states, and then they're going to go through a recession. And
wait, is this American history?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see, but Cersei's blood prophecy's driving her, and she thinks, I think, in the books, that's Marjorie.
She thinks it's Marjorie, and she's doing everything she can to stop it.
But it's going to not be Marjorie.
And it's not either.
It can't be Marjorie.
Either if it is Marjorie, it's still going to happen. If it isn't Marjorie,
one of the interesting theories I saw on there was that it was going to be Brienne. Brienne.
No,
because they joke Brienne's nickname is called Brienne the Beauty.
But he said more beautiful, not the beauty. You know?
That's all about prophecies.
It won't be Brienne.
The beauty.
It doesn't lead to a person's ass on the throne. Yeah. I don't. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like prophecies throne, and I like theories about this, that, and the other. Is who ends
up on the throne the most important part of the story?
It's the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's the Song of Ice and Fire that eventually will have what George has told us is an ending. There is an end. There is not an end, but I guess a completion to the current drama that is unfolding in this particular era of Westeros and Essos. that we will get an ending. We will get something that is either going to make us go, "Yay, that was great," that fucking sucked.
Well, then the prophecy is Azor Ahai. Come
now
again.
you're talking. Azor Ahai could destroy everything.
According to the prophecy in the ancient books of Ashai, which Melisandre is a believer of, and the champion is sent by Haror. This will occur after a long summer when evil, cold darkness descends upon the world. It is said
the winter's coming, the summer just ended.
That wielding Lightbringer, once again,
Stannis.
Azor Ahai, well, she thinks it's Stannis.
She thinks it's Stannis.
Or she sets him up to be Stannis because that fits her goals at the moment. Azor Ahai will stand against the others, and if he fails, the world fails with him. So some readers believe that Azor Ahai is reborn as the same hero as the prince that was promised. Right? So the Rhaegar is going with the prince that was promised theories, and he's like, yeah,
so we're all looking at Jon Snow.
I got to fulfill all this, and that's Jon Snow. And so ultimately, Jon Snow could be Azor Ahai.
But I thought that Azor Ahai and the prince that were promised were two different things.
That's true. Azor Ahai and the prince that was promised have thus far never been mentioned in the same sentence. Melisandre
two
has
different
mentioned
prophecies from two different directions.
Right. Melisandre has
same
mentioned
person
it's the
with
same
different
idea.
Right.
Yes.
Melisandre has mentioned that the prince that was promised and Azor Ahai interchangeably, although she tends to use the name Azor Ahai more often. Right? So Azor Ahai,
prophecy there.
Yeah, I'm reading the wiki here real quick here.
Wiki.
Stuff. So in his youth, Prince Rhaegar thought he might be the prince that was promised, but I think he realized that he wasn't going to be.
At best, it's his own heir.
At best, it was going to be his own heir. Yes, exactly.
So this brings us to what is probably the most important. I know Blake and I have talked about this before. Was probably the most important historical thing that occurred leading up to the show, the books. Excuse me, is the tourney at Harrenhal. That kind of started everything into motion, where there could have been a Jon Snow was consummated.
Exactly.
There could have been
and two different,
three or four different people who could have got with a Shara Dane. There are
people,
maybe something occurred there with the Martells, with everybody who was
all
there
the important
and attended.
Families were there.
Everybody was there. It was a pretty big deal, and
the tournament of Harrenhal.
And Jaime was a squire.
Exactly. Jaime became a member of the Kingsguard there at Harrenhal.
So I think what I'd love to see is a write-up or flashback in the show. Whatever.
I would like to see the tournament.
The tourney at Harrenhal, because we might get some more information.
Flashback in the TV show,
right? Because that could give us the information about
hell of a lot of
what happened. And the Jon Snow's parentage and lineage.
That would be cool if they did just one episode, the flashback episode called "The Tourney of
Tournament of Harrenhal," because so much.
I think it would open up that way. They would open up into it, and they would introduce the younger people pretty quickly and say, "Hey, this is a young Ned. This is a young, whoever." And this is
a young Varys.
Okay, hey, now we're all at Harrenhal. And
Rhaegar.
And they do an entire 15, 20 minutes on that, and then you come back into whatever current time that they're in, and it's somebody explaining the tournament and what had gone on there, and just kind of a secondary thing. But it allows them to bring that in, and that then opens up all of the necessary theories that they need to have.
All the things, the behind. The whole thing that Stark's what's his name? Brandon Stark.
Yeah,
Brandon Stark's Rickard Stark's Southron ambitions, marrying everybody off in between the Tullys and the Vale, and between each other and the Starks and the Baratheons. Southron ambitions. It was rumored that. Rhaegar got wind of a possible thing because the tournaments have traditionally was used in Westeros as planting insurrections and etc. Rhaegar went to the tournament at Harrenhal with the possible ambition of heading off the Southron ambitions of the Starks, acknowledging that his dad Aerys was insane and he was going to take over. The Spider Varys tells Aerys, "Hey, you better go to Harrenhal," and he surprises everybody because Aerys, for the first time, leaves Knight's Landing and years and goes to this tournament, and everybody's shocked. There you've got the Baratheons, you've got the Tullys, you've got the Starks. Rhaegar shows up, and all of a sudden Aerys shows up.
Right.
And of course that tournament there, we know Rhaegar crowns Lyanna.
Yep.
Yeah.
The queen of
the tournament, Queen of Beauty, at the tournament, which is an insult to
his wife,
and the Martells, right? So, but before he crowns her, the whole Jojen and what's his name?
The Reed, Mr. Reed.
Howland Reed goes there, gets insulted by 3 squires of knights of the other houses, right? And that's when Jojen and his sister tells Brandon, well, you never heard the story of the laughing knight, the laughing knight of the laughing tree?
Right.
So what happens is, these 3 squires insult Howland Reed in front of Lyanna Stark. Now, Lyanna Stark was, Ned said, if Lyanna had her way, she'd have a sword in her hand. Because she was supposedly very athletic and etc. So Lyanna Stark sees Howland Reed get insulted by these 3 squires of these 3 knights and demands justice for Howland Reed. But Howland Reed is a short guy. He's scrawny. He's like, yeah, but I can't do anything. So during the days of the tournament, this knight shows up. Oh, the Starks. She says to the Starks, with Howland there, somebody's got to avenge him. And Ned's older brother, was it Rickard? Rickard says, let's, she like implores one of her brothers to do something about it. And they kind of like, no, not really. Well, Ned's older brother says, well, we could always get some kind of hashtag, suit of armor together, maybe do something. And it leaves it at that. So the next day, this knight shows up with a laughing tree on the shield, with armor that was obviously thrown together, short of stature, and when he spoke and challenged his words to the other 3 squires to take him on in combat, they said it wasn't a manly voice, but it was kind of like a huffy, like child kind of voice trying to be like a man or a huffy voice. And the knight defeats, boom, squire, takes their stuff and basically says, you want your armor back for ransom, etc. You have to, the knights of your squires, you need to punish your squires and we'll give you your armor back. So Aerys Targaryen is incensed by this because he demands to know who the Laughing Tree Knight is, and won't stature less than a man, if it's a woman, won't raise his visor, and says, yeah, I'll be back the next day. Doesn't show up, and Aerys says, that man's a traitor, and basically announces to Rhaegar, you must find the Knight of the Laughing Tree and expose the Knight of the Laughing Tree. Rhaegar probably finds out it's Lyanna. The theory is Lyanna is the Knight of the Laughing Tree.
Right.
But he doesn't expose her, and he's probably in love with her. Lyanna sings that song. When Rhaegar sings the song at the tournament, everybody loves it. He wins the song contest. Lyanna is crying because, whatever it is, and I believe Selmy or somebody says the heart wants what the heart wants. So there's a connection between Rhaegar and Lyanna at the tournament at Harrenhal. And instead of exposing Lyanna, he keeps her secret. And when he's supposed to, give the Queen of Beauty, he passes up his own wife, who's barren at this point in time, can't have any more kids, and gives it to Lyanna because he knows Lyanna is the actual hero of the tournament. And therefore, the love ship begins at this point in time.
I missed all that.
Well, which ultimately leads to Rhaegar and Lyanna equals Jon Snow.
Exactly. So what happens is, so the theory goes, right? Aerys still deems Knight of the Laughing Tree a traitor to the realm and must be found out and executed and stuff. And the rumor has it, Rhaegar abducts Lyanna, but is he abduct Lyanna, or they decide to go off together? Knows they go to a place that's crummy and run down, and they call it the Tower of Joy, right? The only thing that we know about the Tower of Joy is everybody's dead there now, except for Howland Reed. Howland Reed was with Ned Stark. He's the only living guy that knows what happened at the Tower of Joy.
It's true.
And the only clue we have is Ned, who's in the cells underneath the Red Keep on painkiller, and he shows up with his guys, and the 3 Kings Guard are there guarding the tower. Rhaegar's not there. Rhaegar had already left, but the 3 Kings Guard are there. And he remembers going up to Dane. I forget the Nightbringer, the Lightbringer, not the Lightbringer. What's the Dane's sword?
Oh.
The Morning Sword. They called him the Morning Sword.
Sword of the Morning.
Sword of the Morning. And Ned says, "Hey, you don't have to do this." And Dane's like, "Yeah, I do. I took an oath, Ned." And so we know eventually a lot of people die there. Kingsguard, everybody. Lyanna's dead there.
Yeah.
And Lyanna makes him make a promise. We don't know what that is. But from the Tower of Joy, Ned goes down to Darkstar, or what's Darkstar's house? The Danes are, because Dane was an honorable guy. He's going to take the Morning Sword, or Sword of the Morning, to the Dane household. And that's where all of a sudden Jon Snow pops up, right? Or did he take Jon Snow with him? Well, that's the whole theory, is that Jon Snow was there, Tower of Joy. Lyanna was in a bed of blood. Could have been childbirth. Could have been whatever. Ned
Might have lost the child.
Ned might have lost a child. But Ned is made to keep a promise. And Ned keeps the promise.
Because he's an honorable man.
Because he's an honorable man.
Honorable man.
And he's already seen the Lannisters in the mountain kill children. And you've seen how Ned reacts when Baratheon wants to kill Daenerys. And he's like, she's a child, you can't do that. So Ned would do that to be honorable, kept a promise to Lyanna. And as rumored, Rhaegar dies with a woman's word on his lips. It's got to be Lyanna.
And there you go.
And there you got it.
All right, I think it's about time we start wrapping this up because it's getting late and we're probably
Blake
way
has
over our
40
minutes.
more theories to go, and we just haven't even brushed the surface. But they're good ones, and we definitely thank you, Blake, for your theories. I mean, we all have theories and
Who is
ideas.
Septa Lamore? Let me begin my dissertation.
I've only got 5 pages on Septim Lamore.
Is she a Shara Dane? I don't know, man.
All right. Yeah, I think it might be a good idea to stop this one and then have a follow up maybe at the end of the season.
Yeah, you know,
In 2.5 months after we get to see what they actually throw out.
Yeah, because
Season
at that
5.
point we'll see some things in the TV show that will
we may point
spoil
to
the
what's
books,
happening
and
in
we
the
know
books.
that Winds of Winter will not be out by the time that this season is over. They'd be dumb to release the book in the middle of the season. So I think we're gonna see a really, really good season on TV, and I think the anticipation of Winds of Winter is as high as it's ever going to be, and I think it's going to be a pretty good book, and I think it's going to come out this year. So,
All right, you heard it here first.
Or early
Bednar
next year.
says Christmas 2015.
and Jon Snow will lead the White Walkers.
Jon Snow is Azor Ahai, the prince that was promised.
He can't be. He can't be an Ice King and a Fire King.
He's Ice and Fire. It's the
Son
song
of
of Ice and Fire. He's going to be a White Walker who is the prince that was promised.
He's going to be a
He's
White
gonna
Walker,
die.
the prince that was promised. He's going to get it on with Daenerys.
Now it makes me wish they would have hired a better actor to portray him then. If it's,
That's a good point.
I mean, Kit Harington, love you and all, but yeah, you're not that good of an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell has Bran got to play in this?
He sees things, and
He'll
he'll
be able to-
control all the
you know what?
trees.
He'll
We
probably-
will find out soon enough.
Bran will probably be able to manipulate things.
Oh, but on that note, we will wrap this up, and we will say, Roger says goodbye.
Goodbye.
From Walking Dead to Talking Heads, from comic books to TV sets, there's a history of not so bad. There's the history. It's the history of bad, so bad. The history of bad, it's bad. The History of Bad Ideas podcast.
You are now leading the world of Musings of a Geek podcast network. Stay geeky, my friends.